Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to the first official stream of RC150, which is going to be Panda Mini Mark 1. We should be able to get a bunch done today, so hey there, welcome. Already got 22 viewers, that's awesome. So we're going to be building, hopefully, the entire frame, and I want to get the Z moving. I would love to get the Z moving today. I have not tested most of these parts for the Z anyways. I took apart the old Panda, so I know all of these new parts fit, but much better motor mounts. I have my metal standoffs now so that I can upgrade these plastic standoffs to metal 20mm standoffs. Huge upgrades with RC150. Lots and lots of upgrades. So this is going to be a pretty fun build. I got my new frame in here, which is a little bit bigger so that we can use the full bed. So we're going to be building this guy right away. I should have all of my parts for most of it. Thanks for everyone coming and hanging out with me while I build this guy. Should be pretty fun. So we're going to start getting some of these corner brackets going here. So I highly recommend that you use these slide-in type T-nuts where you can. They're much stronger than the twist-in T-nuts, and they're much better for like assembling the frame and things like that. But the disadvantage is you can't put them in when the frame is assembled. So like I say, use them where you can. Hey, welcome. Thanks, Nuno. Appreciate the support on Patreon. Appreciate all the support on YouTube members and Patreon. I have 2 full videos now for my Fusion tutorial. So there's 2 episodes up on Patreon and up on my YouTube members. So that's pretty awesome. I'm going to be doing some more videos next week on that. So stay tuned for more videos on that. It's a pretty fun series. All right. Unfortunately, I'm still a little bit sick, even from last Saturday. I don't know what the heck I have, but I thought I was on the tail end of it last Saturday, and apparently that was not the case. But this should be a good live stream. We'll get a bunch done for sure. Sometimes it can take a little bit to get the frame started when you do the first corner, but... Hey Manuel, welcome. Alright, so we're going to try and take our time and make sure everything's nice and flush and square. Because the upgraded version is fully boxed frame. So we're getting all the strength and accuracy of a full frame now, which is great. That's one big upgrade to this version of the printer. Yeah, I can stand for Rollocar. Honestly, like just RC150 is kind of what I'm going for, but yeah, Rollocar can be the... I do have an electric screwdriver, but I don't really use it. I've got two of them actually. All right. So that looks good, all nice and flush. Actually, a good amount of them, Nuno. Just a new frame and some idlers. Idlers and pull and for the Z I'm using idlers just because I don't want to have like a ton of bearings. And then you will need just longer rods. That's pretty much it. The X-rail still works. All the bearings, bolts, most of the stuff is going to be the same. Power supply is the same. Main board is the same. All that kind of stuff. Motor count is the same. So yeah, there's, I mean, a frame, linear rods, and a couple idlers and stuff like that. So not a big difference. And then yeah, I have new printed parts, of course, that are much, much better. Huge improvement over the existing Panda parts. So let's preload these in here. Hey Manuel, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. It really goes a long way right now, for sure. Keeping everything just loose here while I preload everything. Hey Pablo, welcome. Hey Alexander, welcome. 40 viewers already, wow. That's awesome. Oh, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Check out my Fusion tutorials. You now have access to my Fusion tutorials. I've got 2 episodes already out there for YouTube members and patrons, so definitely check that out. So I have increased the frame by 50 millimeters in every direction. And by doing that, we're gaining the full build area. So this is now a full 150 by 150 by 150 printer, which is really great. Really nice, usable print area, but the printer I think is going to still be nice and compact. So it's really going to be a great printer, I think, now, as far as using the entire bed. You should be able to get a clicky probe and potentially other probes on this. So I think this is going to turn out to be a really awesome full release for this printer. And I am going to be pursuing kits for this. So of course, I should be able to talk to LDO, and I want to talk to like maybe Formbot or Cybor and get some kits, get some acrylic panels for these. You know, I want this to be a robust, fun build that people get really excited about and want to, you know, assemble and have fun. I do need to do some some ABS testing on this printer, so once this is kind of finished, I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos comparing it to a V0, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you could scale it, Pavlo, by 50 millimeters, as long as you get acrylic panels cut. You will have to change, this is just an example, but you will have to change the spacing on the back of the carriage because you're going to need a longer linear rail on X. So increase everything by 50 millimeters and just some different holes here, and you should be able to scale that no problems. Of course, I got grease all over me. I was trying not to do that this stream, but everything's covered in grease apparently. So yeah, it's a pretty scalable printer. Yeah, like even a company like Cybor or something, they might offer ABS parts. You know, that would be a really great option for people who don't have a printer right now. You know, I want to really make sure that this is good as the Rook, if not better, and be really mainstream. You know, the original Panda already printed like a 10-minute benchy really easily. So this is, there's upgrades across the board on this printer, so it should be awesome. Thanks so much, Nuno. I appreciate the donation. Thank you. $500 by $500 Panda Mini. That would be pretty insane. All right, so let's box out this front. And my voice and throat are not 100% back to normal, but I think I'm getting there. Yeah, RC250 will be pretty good too for scaling up as well. And, you know, I'm going to pursue kits for the RC250 as well. I think that's a pretty good price for the size. And the beta is working really well on that printer. So this version of the printer is, like I say, there's a lot of improvements on this version across the board. So I'm really excited for us to build this and get the new Z. The new Z should be a night and day difference on this printer. I've put a lot of work into the Z on this. Yeah, this is going to be fixed gantry. It just made sense. It's difficult to fit everything into a small frame like this, and there are people out there that really hate the flying gantry, and that's fine. So I figure why not just keep it fixed. These are built from scratch. Yeah. This is a DIY build for now. Like I say, it's still very, very early. I want to make sure some people build this version of the printer. I want to make sure the bill of materials is really good before I start getting some companies to get some kits started to be made. So for now, it's strictly DIY, self-source, I should say. And yeah, this is belted Z. It's a pretty unique belted Z. I don't think I've seen a belted Z like this before. You know, I'm going to show that off. Here's a little bit of a teaser for all of you for the belted Z. It's pretty unique. It has 4 belts, but only 2 motors. I think, you know, it should work. Like I say, I've not even assembled it before. I've got all the parts here to assemble one side, and we'll see how well that works. It should be perfect, but you never know. I'm just using a Big Tree Tech Pico for the main board on this. The Pico is cheap and very small, so it's going to get a Pico. You could use an SKR Mini E3 if you wanted to as well. I'm also testing out a Mellow board, which is even cheaper. So I'm not going to put the Mellow on the bill of materials yet because I haven't tried one out myself. But I do want to make this as cheap and inexpensive as possible. But my assumption is that the kits, when kits are made for this, it'll be a Big Tree Tech board, probably. But maybe it'll be Mellow if the manufacturers can get them. The motors don't need to be independent, so no, you can just run them off of like one port. So the SKR Mini has 2 Z ports, but 1 driver. There's not really a big benefit for doing independent, like left-right. You could, though. You could definitely run a 5 driver board, and you could do Z tilt, but it's only going to tilt the bed on each side, if that makes sense. And there's still bed springs, so I really don't see the need to do that. But if you have a board like that lying around, go for it. You can build this printer without a Z probe and just a regular end stop if you want, or you could build it like with Clicky probably. I would like to add Clicky to mine. Yeah, the Rook has kits available, and it's a great printer for beginners and stuff like that as well. So definitely check that out. Alright, so I'm going to flip this over. Let's get this all squared up. You can, of course, use blind joints if you want to on this. If you have an M5 tap, you could absolutely do blind joints and save yourself a little bit of money, for sure. So this will be fine with blind joints. If you don't want to tap your extrusions, though, you definitely can just use these corner brackets. Yeah, I might need to. I thought Prusa was going to respond back to me sooner. I haven't heard back from them yet, so I don't know. I might have to put it on GitHub. I really hate GitHub, but it might have to be. Because it's fully boxed, I believe there'll be double, not quite double the corner brackets, I don't think. I want to say 16 corner brackets in total. I think Panda was like 10 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. Blind joints are really good as well. The disadvantage with blind joints is, yeah, you have to really make sure your blind joint is not like your 2020 are nice and flat. As long as you can build on a granite surface or a really smooth, flat surface, blind joints are okay. These brackets, though, will flatten the 2020 for you, though. So that's a big advantage with these corner brackets for sure. This looks like I still have some of the film on this. But either will be perfectly fine. So we're just going to lock down these as best as I can. And we'll double check the frame, make sure this front piece is nice and square. We can also check and make sure that this is sitting nice and flat as well, if I can find some room. So our corners are nice and flat. The front frame is nice and flat, so that's perfect. Everything's nice and smooth on our corners. Nothing's jutting out weird or anything like that. Just going to go around and make sure all these are nice and tight. All right, so that's looking really good. So this is our front. That's looking great. This corner is a little off, but not by a ton. We'll just double check. That looks great. That looks great. So this bottom corner here it's off by maybe 0.5 millimeter. We'll see if we can dial this in a bit better. I want to definitely make sure I take the time now and get everything as square as possible. That's the whole idea with boxing this frame is that we can get a nice square frame for the V wheels on the Z to work as they should and be in contact with the extrusion at all times. So yeah, it's very possible one of these extrusions is not 100% straight, but we'll have to get it as good as we possibly can. Yeah, we're over 11,000 subscribers, which is incredible. All right. So there's our front. We'll put it like this, and then we are going to grab this guy and we're going to start building the bottom of this printer out. So let's see what's going to be the easiest way to do this here. So we're going to got to get some more corner brackets. I should have enough corner brackets. I hope I do. Let me go grab my other corners. we go. More corner brackets. Oh, nice. You capped out your P1S. That must be going pretty quickly then. Okay, so let's put this in here. And it's going to be 2 on this side. All right, so we're going to put in, I think I'm going to actually attach them to this first, and then I'll slide them in. Yeah, it's a shame that I can't use the Panda logo anymore. It was a really cool logo, but it's Big Tree Tech has Panda products and stuff like that, and I just don't want any confusion and stuff, so I figure just change the name and we'll live with it. Hey William, welcome. Welcome. That's okay, we got lots of stream left. Don't worry about that. There we go. It's definitely really satisfying using these corners because you can just feel the corner like align everything really nicely. Yeah, just gotta live with the RC. Kind of abbreviation names with numbers are better. For the most part, no one's going to take them, so. Perfect. So there's one bottom side done. Flip this around. Yeah, you could definitely print the corner brackets out. It is better for sure to have them metal. However, you know, I understand that you could definitely save money if you do printed ones. I would definitely make them pretty thick, though, if you're going to print the brackets. The brackets are doing a lot of work on the frame, right? That's the only thing holding the frame together. So you definitely want to make sure your brackets are very robust. I would be doing something like minimum 5 walls, 50% infill on the brackets. And you, like I say, you probably would want to go even higher if you're going to go that route. But that's the great thing about DIY printers. Build the printer that you want. I don't think I have links turned on. You could put it on my Discord though. I don't believe anyone but myself or Canrog can put a link in chat, but you can definitely put it in the Bamboo channel on Discord, or there's a user build on there too. Okay, we gotta flip this. That was nice and easy. Square this guy up. What's everyone building this weekend? What projects you all got going on this weekend? You building printers, building Vorons, building projects? Perfect. Yeah, if you got an M5 tap, M5 tap and a drill, make short work of these. Just make sure you're lubricating your tap very well, and you definitely can make short work of these, and then save yourself the cost of blind joint, or save yourself the cost of these brackets. Okay, building a project, awesome. Ender 3NG, awesome. Hey, Printer Prawn, welcome. Building my math homework. Oh no, homework's the worst. Okay. Actually, we need to do these next. Hopefully I've got enough corner brackets. I think I have more over there. I swore I had enough. Well, maybe we won't be able to finish the frame. I must have more brackets. I probably have some lying over there. I'll have to check out later. Oh, stealth press. Okay, awesome. Sunlu S8 running. Hey Joe, welcome. Which DIY hexapod are you talking about? My DIY pet, is it, or whatever? He has like probably the best one on YouTube. He's on my Discord, and he's an awesome awesome creator. He has hands down one of the best DIY hexapods on YouTube. It uses a old cell phone. I just need 3 here. Yeah, no, he's awesome. I'm going to eventually build one myself. I've been looking on YouTube for a hexapod for years, and then I stumbled upon his channel, and it's incredible. So thanks for the donation, Joe. Yeah, I need to get some brackets. Maybe, we'll see. I should have some more. I mean, I've got 3 here for the L brackets. I probably need another 6. So we'll see if I can track those down. I'll still get the Z. I'm still gonna get the Z working. I'm determined. I want to see the Z in action because I just made it in CAD and I haven't. Yeah, I seen that post, William. Yeah, just convert to a big cappy. That would be cool. Because you got it for a really good deal, right? Yeah, I could. It'll take too long for me to print them before the stream's over, but we'll figure it out. All right. That's not what I wanted. Let's lock these in a bit. Oh, nice. Yeah, Mega Cappy would be cool with that. All right, let's slide in here. Come on. There we go. These sliding nuts can definitely be a bit annoying once you... There we go. Let's just temporarily put that in there. Yeah, that's a crazy price for that. That's a good deal. You guys in the US always get awesome deals. We don't get anything like that here in Canada. You'd want to look at some LDO steppers potentially. Maybe you could find some stepper online ones, but LDO would most likely have a stepper for you. I don't know the exact model that you would want, but LDO is generally a good go-to for robust high-performance steppers. Okay, so I've got a bracket for this side, and I've got a bracket to do that. Oh, I'm so close. I actually need 2. I only need 2 more because the back piece of the frame actually is going to be one of these T brackets. So I only need 2 more corner brackets. I know I have 2 metal silver ones, but well, I have some black ones somewhere. It might break the aesthetic, but I'm going to see if I can find some black. No, I lied. I totally forgot. I definitely have way more brackets. There's a reason why I don't have that. I wanted to show you guys a preview here of the size difference. So all my brackets are on here still, so that's why I knew I had more. So here's the difference in frame size. It's not huge. Hopefully you can get an idea. It's only a 50 millimeter increase. The printer's still going to be pretty compact. Awesome. I appreciate the feedback, William. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun designing that printer in my tutorials, so I want to get more of them out. Hopefully another 2 episodes next week. I actually don't like mouse pads. I prefer running straight on the desk. I mean, I have a really nice Star Trek desk mat, like a really nice Star Trek Defiant desk mat, but it's on my my actual workstation there. I hate mouse pads with a passion. Alright, so let's get the frame. I definitely have more brackets. They're on the old Panda frame. I forgot. I did not take them all off because I wanted to show all you the size difference. It's not insane, but it's going to be a much more usable printer. So I'll get those in. Yeah, and this desk is too small. Fingers crossed. FlexiSpot did reach out to me to review one of their chairs, which I really want to review one of their chairs, but hopefully they'll send me a desk to review. I would love to get a really nice heavy-duty standing desk from FlexiSpot. So maybe one day I will have like an awesome stout standing desk I can raise up and I can be standing building the printers and maybe get the computer off of the desk and have like the monitor hung up and stuff like that. But I've got no monies for that kind of stuff right now, but one day. Since you went from printed printers to extrusion frame based printers, by the way. So Iconic Fab, I still have an idea in my head for a printed printer. I'm not going to give out any details. I like both, right? You know, the Rook is so popular, and I'm sure it's going to get even more popular as time goes on. I love the idea of a printer that can be fully printed, and I want to try some different things. So don't worry, I've got some ideas for some more printed printers, but I'm really slowing down now and making sure that I design a printer and it's matured and really good before I'm done with it. And I want to make sure, like I say, I want some kits for this printer. I think this is going to be a really good printer for, you know, someone who wants a nice smallish printer that's on their desk, but wants that 150 build area. So I'm really trying to make this printer really good. Yeah, Mandic really, I subscribe to his channel. He has a pretty sweet workspace. Yeah, I definitely need a desk for sure. For Panda Mini to RC150, totally different belt path, better tensioning, boxed frame, much better Z, way better motor mounts, more robust motor mounts with metal spacers now. Just better in every single aspect of the printer. Like, don't get me wrong, Panda Mini already printed really well. This printer should be that and some more for sure. So tool head's going to be better. Yeah, there's so many things that are better with this. I've remade every single printed part on this. Well, I'm unemployed now, so I have a lot of time on my hands. So, that's the whole reason why I was able to make this RC150 version of Panda Mini, because I have a lot of free time right now. So, I've been just focusing on CAD, 10 hours a day of CAD. So, you can reuse your bamboo hot end for sure. Definitely not your side panels. This is a 50 millimeter bigger frame. You will need new linear rods, and you will need some idlers just for the Z, but it's not a huge difference. Like, it's not a massive parts change. So a lot of the stuff will carry over, but yeah, just a giant rectangle printer that also serves as a desk. That's a good idea. Just make it out of like some 2040 or something like that, or 3030. Yes. Yeah. Wait till, I will release this in a beta form for a little time just to make sure the bill of materials is perfect and all that stuff. And then, like I say, I'm going to start trying to get some kits, some manufacturers go on board for kits and such. So. No, it's not going to fit on this version, but I mean, if you really wanted to, you could scale it up. So yeah, like here's my Micron 150 build plate on this. So, there's room for clicky probe in the back, hopefully. There should be lots of room for that. Maybe beacon or cartographer probe. I don't think BL Touch will fit, just on how the gantry is, but like, I mean, here's the bottom of the old printer. So here's the base of the original Panda. There's also less material needed too. It's much easier to print. There's no supports. I don't think there's a part on this printer that has supports. Like, it's night and day improvement. Yeah, I should be able to get to my Delta printer sooner. Um, what's going to happen is I'm going to finish this, make sure it's good, and I'm going to start doing some more work on Panda or RC250. I want to kind of make its motor mounts really nice like this and make it more robust. And then I'll focus on my Mini Delta. Probably in a week or two. I got to make sure the parts work first, right? Google the cartographer probe and you'll see it's a pretty cool probe. I've not tried mine yet. It's not here yet, but it's like a DIY or an open source beacon. It's a bit cheaper, but I don't know if it's good or bad or anything yet. So the Z is 2 steppers. There's no leaning. There's going to be no leaning because it's 4 belts. And like, this is the teaser for the Z. 1 motor on each side with 4 belts. 2 belts per motor It's going to be really cool. So let's get some more of these in here. 70 viewers, wow. Thanks everyone for joining. Build a rook just because, on the other hand, I'm scared to do it. So, Iconic Fab and anyone building a rook, something that I really would recommend to all of you who are going to build a rook with a printed frame. And, you know, this isn't like a, you know, I don't have any stake in this or anything like that. Do a skew test on your printer before you print a rook frame. If your printer is out of skew, even though it's printing the same parts, you're going to have a really messed up Z because the rods are going to be all weird and skewed, and you're going to have a lot of issues. So go like spend $5, get the cauliflower print from like Vez 3D, I think it is, and do a skew calibration on your printer. I highly, highly recommend that if you're printing something like a rook frame, because that has to be as square as you can possibly get. Yeah, I mean, deltas are not that popular, and I want to make a small, inexpensive, easy to build delta so that more people get into them, because they are awesome printers. And now that Clipper and RepRap firmware is out, like, it's nothing to calibrate a delta, so. Yeah, I mean, once they're available and they're not crazy expensive. I tried to get the Peopoly Magneto X because it was such an insane deal, but they didn't ship to Canada. So maybe I can get one for review someday if my channel gets a bit bigger, because I really think they're doing amazing work with that printer, and I think it's going to make the DIY space even better because of that printer. No, I mean, the chamber's only going to get to 40 degrees, maybe 45. Like, it's not going to be a big deal for the... Steppers can live in a 40-degree environment, that's no problem. The Delta, I'm targeting it, my Delta will be like 120, 140 millimeters build area. It's going to be compact, small, basically like the V0 of Deltas is, honestly. The bottom and the top frame are going to be 3D printed. I'm going to experiment with a couple different things on it. I've got some ideas. I've got CAD done, a good amount of the CAD done already. I'm just waiting until these RC printers are done and they're as good as I want them to be. My Bamboo has 1,100 hours. I've had one print failure and it was my fault. I mean, I don't mean to be like a Bamboo fanboy, but like there's nothing, it just works. I just press a button and I leave, and I have great parts. Does it print the best ever? Like, is the quality phenomenal? No. But it's insane reliable, and for the Kickstarter price, especially that I paid for it, there's not even a printer that comes close. Now, I will say I am hoping to get my Panda printer, my RC150, my big one. I want it to do the same. So my goal is I want it to be a printer where I can print a whole bunch of 3D sets models. So I'm gonna probably start streaming some 3D sets, builds and stuff like that, like the Sakura, the A-Team van and stuff like that. Egg. Your daughter wants me to say egg. There you go, egg. Eggs, eggs, eggs. So I want to start building some 3D sets models. I got to finish my Land Rover Defender model, and I want to use my RC250 printer for that. So I want to have a camera on it. I want to have that set up and just be able to click print, right? And it's close to that. I just need to make sure that it's like finished and I'm not constantly modding it to make it better kind of thing. So no, you got to use the cartographer. I want to see if it's good, Joe. Like, just mine's not even here yet. I don't even know where mine is. I mean, like, you can still get better print quality over a Voron or a printer like this that you can tune. Like the Bamboo, unfortunately, the print's just the print. You can't really get into Input Shaper, mess with the config file, change a whole bunch of stuff. That's the limiting factor of it. But like, I'm not kidding you. My Bamboo has done 1,100 hours and it's never skipped a beat. I use the AMS all the time for like swapping colors and swapping materials. I go back and forth between PLA and ABS all the time. Is it because I'm Canadian? We say egg normally. All right, so we're getting pretty close here. Yeah, it's crazy difficult for me to recommend any other printers than a Bamboo printer. Like there's just, unless you're getting a significant deal, like there's just nothing that's better. I have a Two Trees SK1 sitting right here, and it's the same price as a P1P. Like, why not just buy the P1P and then you can upgrade it with AMS, you know, enclosure, all that kind of stuff. And Bamboo parts are cheap. Their shipping is fast. All right, so I'm going to do the sides, but I need to steal some parts from the old frame here first. Yeah, and I mean, my K1 sucked because I bought one like right when they came out. Like I bought a K1 like as soon as I seen it, I bought it. And my K1 had issues as soon as I sold it. Tons of hot end issues, extruders. It wasn't a finished printer. Clipper was locked down. I know they're much better now, but I've heard they've done the same things with the carbon, the whatever. The K1C I heard is like not ready for prime time. So again, they rushed it out too, but anyways. These are twist ins. This frame is cutting into me, which is fun. Yeah, the screen, but I never use my screen on my X1, like ever. And they make aftermarket screens now for them, so, you know, that's kind of like not a big issue anymore, in my opinion. And like I say, I don't ever use the screen. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could just come without a screen or something. I don't know, but it's fine. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so got a preload. Yeah, one of my best purchases by far in the last year was my X1 Carbon for sure. Hey Pablo, thanks for being a member. 2 month membership, awesome, appreciate it. Um, the RC250 has my own tool head. It just supports the bamboo hot end. However, it should be very easy for people to modify it and use different hot ends down the road. I'm trying to design it in a way that's going to be easy for people to make their own mods. So, but right now it supports the Bamboo X1 clone hot end or normal hot end. So. Just put this in here temporarily. Yeah, I actually have that cheap yellow LCD. I have it sitting on my desk. Maybe I'll put it on the Mini Delta or something like that. I had to buy one because I like cheap things that work well. I got to flip this over. So it's difficult for me to slide in nuts now, so we got to start using some twist ins. Yeah, I'm excited to try my display out. I actually was able to fix the install. So I don't know how the Ender 3NG does it, but I'm using the fan holes now as well as one hole on the top. So it's 100% rigidly mounted now using the two fan holes on the back. It's a huge improvement. So it's completely rigid. It won't move around at all. And it's way better than those two bolts just on the top. So it's fully constrained and it won't like, it's going to be 90 degrees and work really, really well. Yeah, check out Teaching Tech's video and I mean, you guys in the US get it for $10. Mine was $20, but still, it's an awesome, it looks like an awesome little thing. Mods for it. I really don't know because I have an X1 Carbon, like I don't, mine's like already kitted out with like you know, auxiliary fan, camera, all that kind of stuff. So like having a camera is huge to me on that, because I always like to check out how my print's running and stuff like that. So if your printer doesn't have a camera, definitely get that. Have you got 2 aux fans on it already? Wow, okay, so you probably got awesome cooling sorted. And a camera, all right. You're pretty much sorted then, I would say. I can't really think of anything else I would want on mine. I mean, clipper would be great, but like I say, it's just a nice set it and forget it printer, so. None of these tight? Oh, none of these are tight. What materials are you printing with your bamboo printer where you want a heated chamber? All right, so that's looking pretty good. That's pretty good. Got to remember here what is front and what is back here, because we can get out of skew. So, of course, then my motor mount is going to go here. But we're going to just put on the other side first. And I do need 2 more brackets. My last 2 black brackets, I guess. Oh, you're only printing PLA. I mostly only print PLA on mine, but if I'm designing a printer that's enclosed or something, then yeah, I'll print ABS or whatever, but... Okay, these are twisting too. Panda mini frame is no more, fully disassembled. Alright, so let's take... Yeah, pay your respects to the Panda mini frame. I'm going to use it for something else, but I don't know what yet, but it's giving up its frame parts for a good cause. It is now out of date and archaic compared to this printer. Try to get this as level as I possibly can. It's okay, it's not perfect, but we'll see how it squares up. Never. 1515s, I'm never going to use a 1515. Ever. Hate them with a passion. If you see me design something with a 1515, someone bought my channel. It's not me. Yeah, I want to make sure everything is working, like all these parts are new. I've tested out the motor mounts. I've used the new tensioners and motor mounts in like X and Y, but the Z is completely new. And it's never been tried. So I really don't see any issues, but that always happens. And then I'm like, oh, I got to change these 4 parts or whatever, but all right, so there is the front of our printer, and we'll have to see how it's. So like, you know, again, a great example of the difference here is this is the bottom now, just these 4 parts. So there's the difference in plastic. This is RC150. This is Panda Mini. That's how much different plastic there is. Like all of this is gone. So, you know, it's going to be a massive, massive improvement to this. So I need my tool to set my height. And I mean, anyone who's built Panda Mini knows how hard it was to actually build, how to print the motor mounts. These motor mounts are 2 pieces. They're 2 pieces and they print flat. No supports whatsoever. They're massively stronger than the old version. Yeah, just 4 V wheels on Z. Okay, so I need to take these out and slide them onto the new frame. There are, oh, and I want to take out the plastic spacers because I've got metal ones now. I should be able to just take these out. So yeah, like again, it's just insane how nice and clean and simplified. And we're going to already upgrade some parts today on this because I got my spacers showed up finally. Should make sure I know what's what here. But so yeah, there's the two. A Rook 3030. That'd be pretty insane printer. I know people have built some big Rooks. I mean, RC250 is meant to replace Simple Core. But both printers are great, and there's still an active Simple Core community on Discord. Simple Core is okay too. Just make sure you're printing the Simple Core Legacy. I don't recommend Simple Core MK1. If you really love that printer, just build a Trident. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I got some spacers in the mail. So if anyone is going to be building RC150, I highly recommend you buy 20mm metal spacers that don't have threads. Because a lot of spacers are not threaded all the way through. They're just threaded on the ends. So I ordered these really nice polished spacers. There's no threads on these. I'm going to replace these plastic spacers with these. It's going to be a huge upgrade already. I, however, did find some colored spacers. So these are, of course, some awesome green spacers, like the best color ever. These are threaded all the way through. So I will put these in the bill of materials as well. I also ordered some black spacers from the same company. And again, I think these are threaded all the way through. So these will work as well. And there's purple, green, all sorts of colors, blue spacers. But like I say, just be wary of spacers that have threads. So we're going to be replacing the spacers on here with metal ones right now because I just had to get these Amazon ones temporarily because I couldn't get any metal ones on Amazon that were threaded or unthreaded or whatever. So we get to get rid of these plastic spacers and put these nice new metal spacers in place, which is much more rigid, and these are a standard 20mm size, and these are going to make the motor mounts even much stronger. So, and this is a pretty big goal I wanted with my printers going forward, is to be able to use inexpensive metal components. So like, yeah, check that out. 20mm metal spacers. And I want RC250 to have these as well. So I'm going to be changing the spacers or the gantry on RC250. Hopefully I can move the belts inward a little bit. I can have tensioners on the front, and then I can have everything spaced out really nice. Because I have some other ideas in the future I'm not going to say quite yet, but I do have plans for other stuff. Really cool stuff. So oh, the filament, sorry, Cohen. This is Sparta 3D ABS. Sparta 3D ABS for the teal and magenta or whatever colors that these were, I forget. They're like the galaxy colors, so they got some fancy sparkles in them. Yeah, I can send you some links, Canrog. I'll put them on the bill of materials because I've now tested them and they work. And the green spacers, like they did thread through, but like I say, you got to be really careful. These are generally used for quadcopter frames. I used to use these when I was designing quadcopters, but a lot of times they're only the ends are threaded. But these are absolutely threaded all the way through perfectly. So these do work. So this brand, this company of spacers is good. Yeah, the new RC250 gantry should share a lot of this. Simple, rigid, less plastic, you know. These printers are going to hopefully share some design philosophy, but yeah, RC250 is going to stay flying gantry. So there we go. Now we have nice metal supports for these parts. No more plastic. And they're really, really stout. The belt spacing now is like perfect because of that, because of the spacers are a fixed 20 millimeters. There's no variance slightly from printed spacers. So that's a huge upgrade for there. So I'm definitely very excited for these. Yeah, I was into, I mean, I will eventually probably get back into it, but I was into FPV quadcopters. I did design some frames, carbon fiber frames back in the day. I actually had one of my frames like in a magazine, I think. I don't remember what magazine it was. It was a pretty unique frame. And I sold some frames to, you know, people in Germany and stuff like that, and I was pretty into that. And I don't know. I got out of it because it's very difficult to find a spot to fly. And, you know, in 3 years, I hope to be on an acreage with a shop. And if I'm on an acreage with some land, I can get into planes and quads and all that kind of stuff. So you'll definitely see a RC channel. Well, I do have an RC channel, but I don't remember the password for it or anything like that. Because that is another hobby that I really do enjoy, RC in general. So I'm going to be printing out some 3D sets, remote control. Like I have the Land Rover Defender rock crawler. I've not finished it. It's been like 2 years. I want to finish that. I want Carvera to send me. I want to get a Carvera. I desperately want to get a Carvera. I want to make some aluminum gantry parts for my printers, carbon fiber gantry parts, and I want to be able to sell them to you guys. So I'm very interested in designing maybe a printer that is all carbon fiber as far as motion parts and stuff. But I want to be able to offer the parts to you guys, like, so I can like flat ship them to you or whatever it might be. So, you know, hopefully one day my channel can get a bit bigger, like 20,000 subs, and I can maybe reach out to Carvera and I can get a Carvera. I see that they just brought out a new one, the Carvera Air, which is really cool. So hopefully one day. Hey Zombie, welcome. RC150 now. No more Panda Mini. It's gone forever. It's dead. It is a zombie. RC1. I have not... I'm not really into, if it's a road car, I'm not into road cars. I find them boring. I'm into like off-road stuff and planes and air stuff. No boats either. I've got a really big Sculpt Fun laser that I can make panels with too, so I'm going to be doing some of that. It's just too cold right now for me to get into my garage and use my laser. So there we go. All brand new, nice polished aluminum standoffs. Yeah, sorry. Big Tree Tech took the Panda name for their own stuff, which is fine. And I just don't want people to be like, hey, does this support the Panda tool head or Panda hot end and like all this kind of stuff? And it's just like, yeah, totally different things and whatever. So all right, need to make sure that I'm actually putting this on correctly. I should be. Alright, there's one slid in there. And another great upgrade because of this is you can now have motors any size on Panda or on RC150. So they're not limited by the length of the motor, because one of the motors used to be facing upward and you'd hit the top of your printer. So on RC150, you can run 48mm motors on here if you want to. You can run even larger ones if you want to. So that's another benefit to this. All right, we have our motors in place. I've got my tool here, so let's get these motors mounted, and then we can hopefully get this frame starting to assemble here pretty quick. Or the Z, I should say. Okay, so I need my rear brackets. And the name to, yeah. I think Simple Core is the best name. Yeah, Simple Core is a cool name for sure. All right, so where is mine? So I highly recommend that you print out the tools, like the spacer tools in PLA, because you don't want them to shrink or anything. Hey, Big Red, welcome. Okay. Put that in there. All right. Come on, T-nut. All right. Just get these barely snugged up for now, and then we can insert the other bolts and T-nuts. Okay, so some of the hardware I'm using here too is from Fortress, so rip my Fortress printer as well. It gave up all of its parts pretty much for this. But that's okay, this is definitely a much better printer than that. All right, so I think I'm going to put this flat on the front here, and then hopefully just get this in somewhat. Let's see if I can do it from the side, maybe a bit easier. There we go. All right, so now we need to set the height of this with just this printed tool. Like I say, I recommend printing these tools in PLA because they won't shrink. Definitely won't shrink as much as ABS would, and then you're not going to get very accurate results. But I mean, the difference is probably negligible, so so let's just see here. Looks good. That looks good. I can come up a bit. So I'm going to quickly just check how square this is. It should be pretty close. Yeah. Looks pretty good. We'll do one final triple check. And we will lock these down. So of course the frame is much more rigid now because we have it fully boxed in. So let's see where we're at here. Just make sure nothing moved really from the position. Perfect. And then these motor mounts just slide to the very ends. They index right to the end of them, so super easy to do. There's two M5 bolts in the back, or in the front, and then there's one M5 in the back. I do need to make a slight modification. It's a little bit annoying to get to the bolt in the back. I mean, it does work fine, but I just want to make a little slot so that your Allen can fit a bit easier in the back. So I'm using, I believe it's the Micron bed. Micron bed is 150 and a tiny M bed is 150, or this is the tiny M bed, I think. I think both are 150 in size. They're a little tricky to find sometimes, but hopefully, like, I can get, you know, like I say, some manufacturers just make some build plates for this printer once we get kits going and stuff like that. So hopefully but you can use the tiny M bed, which can be got on AliExpress. Or you can use a piece of glass too. Piece of glass in a heater is a great option. Glass obviously doesn't conduct heat as good as metal does, but if you're not printing at the maximum absolute edge, yeah, a salad fork bed would fit too, I'm pretty sure. You would have to adjust some of the bed mounts potentially, but yeah, I can't remember. I thought a Micron bed, there is a 150 version of some other bed. Maybe salad fork is what I'm thinking of. There's two printer for ants that are like 150 in size or something like that. I don't recall, but if you're just printing PLA fast or ABS on this printer and you're only going to use like 120 millimeters of the bed, get a piece of glass, borosilicate glass, tempered glass, and get a heater. That's the cheapest and easiest way to build one of these. Glass works perfectly fine. You would have to use like a clicky probe with glass. You couldn't use something else, but... Oh, nice. Okay, so you just had to drill some holes in those. That's pretty cheap. You could increase everything by 50 millimeters and fit a 180 bed on here. But you will need new printed panels. Or you need acrylic ones. Cut yourself out some acrylic panels. You'd have to make some DXF files for acrylic. All right, so perfect. We got our, so I mean, like already, just look how much cleaner, you know, this gantry setup is compared to Panda Mini. Okay, so we need to make sure that we grab the right ones here. And then another big addition to this as well, the rods have clamps, so you can actually take the rods out. The whole printer is much easier to build as well. And these just go up to the exact same height that the motor mounts go to. So we're just gonna snug those just ever so slightly. We're gonna grab my, and just pop it up using my square. So again, just crazy easy to build. You now have like nice parts here where you can clamp your Y rod in and you can completely remove it. Easier for maintenance, that type of thing. So big benefit. I think I pretty much fixed everything that was an issue on Panda Mini. It's a 120 heater, I believe. And the Panda Mini bill of materials, I think it's a 120 heater. You could probably even use a 100 millimeter heater on a metal bed. Like most Voron printers, they have a 250 bed and a 200 millimeter heater. You don't need a huge, massive heater. Then this, we kind of just have to use calipers to align because the tool can't really fit. So yeah, I basically looked at every aspect of this printer so that I could make it better. And that's what I did. Like it's almost a different printer. And that's kind of, you know, there's a good reason for the rename too. Okay, so what's that? That's got to go way down. good right there. Yeah, I really encourage, yeah, people to take a look at this printer and see if you think this would be a cool build. Um, I know a lot of people don't like the crazy small printers, but I just love the form factor of this. And a 150 by 150 is pretty usable for a lot of mechanical parts and things. RC150, it uses the same amount of bearings for the gantry, and then I'm using idlers for the Z. I believe the bearing count is either the same, or it might be two more. I forget. I'll have to, like I say, I gotta make a new bill of materials and fine tune a couple things with this, but the 250 frame Canrog, I'm not going to change the frame. I think the only part maybe I'll change is on the 250 is that back extrusion where the motor mounts are, because I want to make that better. That's the only 2020 extrusion I'll change. The frame is definitely going to stay the same for RC250. Most of these printed parts too are not size specific. So like you can make this printer pretty much any size. Just the panels are going to change, and then just your rod length will change, and then your X. So the parts themselves are pretty generic too. Hey, welcome from the Ukraine. Yeah, 180 by 180 RC 150 or RC 180 would be very cool. You can use the 2020 that's in the Panda bill of materials Canrog. Those should be the right size. But like I say, if you want to wait for that rear motor one on the RC250, then you'll have to wait till this guy is done, and then I can come up with the one. That's probably the only length that's going to change. All right. So mount this up. And then we will set it to the same height. Yeah, being able to take the, like building this printer is so much better, right? So now, you know, I'm not ready for this stage, but just for kicks, let's pop our Y rods in there, and done. Pop our clamps on. Super, super easy. And now you can like do maintenance, swap out stuff really easily. There's more material actually holding the rod as well. They of course print super easily too. Yeah, just really, really efficient, simple parts on this build. I'm much happier with how this printer builds and how it looks and how the parts print. So there's our Y rod. Very easy. Nice and simple to assemble. It's about $370 US right now. That price can be more expensive or cheaper depending on what parts you're using, if you've got spares, extras, what build you're going to use. I'm hoping that we can get the bill of material or the price down once like I work on some kits, you know, because like quantity of scale and whatnot get things cheaper in bulk, right? It's just too much stuff. Like then you're adding another motor, then you need a 6 driver board minimum. There's not very many of those, and there's nothing in the back for a third. Like you'd have to add an extrusion here, you'd have to cut the extrusion, and then V wheels don't work very well with a 3 tilt because they naturally just don't have that rigidity that linear rail would. So Triple Z just really won't work with V wheels. And like if you guys, if this printer is really popular and we get like Cybor or Formbot making kits, you guys are going to get this so inexpensive in the States. Like it's not even funny how cheap it'll be because you can buy V0s for like $180 US sometimes. It's very difficult to compete with a kit price. There we go. Ys are all installed and I can easily take those out once I put my bearings on and stuff like that. But we're not worrying about that right now. I'm really excited to get the Z in. So the Z is going to be using 200 millimeter extrusions right in the middle of the wheels, which is a huge improvement. And I've got those parts printed out. So let's go ahead and assemble those. So we have these front V-wheel mounts, and the belts are going to attach to these with just M3 bolts. So you put the bolts in after the fact. There's nothing to break. Very, very simple. So we'll pop in a V-wheel here. I think I got some 16s. So M5 by 16, pretty common size on most of my printers. I'm sure there's a way to get it to work. It's just having that one wheel on the back, it's not great for stability. So there we go. V-wheels are popped into their mounts there. And basically these just pop onto the extrusions. Just like so. And this is going to ride up and down on the inside. There's no springs anymore. Nothing dumb like that. So I just got to make sure I'm doing this correctly with the correct orientation and such. So this is my front and this is my rear. It shouldn't matter what way they go. So we are going to preload these up. I'm going to start using some silver hardware here because I'm running out of black hardware. But fingers crossed that these parts work. I've not tested them yet, but in the CAD they should be fine. Yeah, dual 120 millimeter blowers. I have modified the duct so it points downward a little bit, downward onto the part a little bit more. And the fans are centered as far as their outlet to the bed. So there's not this really big like overhang. And I'm hoping to make them in 2 pieces so that you can print them without supports. So like I say, I'm trying to literally fix every single potential problem that this printer had in beta form. I was very happy with the performance of the 120mm fans. Like I say, I was printing 10-minute benchies without really any problems, and that's way faster than I ever had intended to make this printer. So this printer should have no trouble exceeding that as long as the cooling can match that. So, all right, so let's pop in our 2020. And then I'm going to just put this nice and flat on the granite here so that we can get it lined up really nicely. And these are really crappy T-nuts. I was hoping not to use these, but oh well. And like I say, the V wheels are in line with the bed frame now. They don't stick way out and like can bend. So these should be, again, a huge upgrade to what I had initially. And I think this is probably the best way for V wheels to be on a Z. And like I say, if I was going to design a giant version of this, I would do 4 motors with gear reduction, and there'd be 4 independent belts, and it would do quad gantry on the bed. But that's too many parts for this printer, too much cost. So, you know, maybe one day I'll make a mod to like RC250. It'll have a flying version and a fixed gantry version, because these parts should work just fine on that. So it wouldn't be much to convert it over. So I definitely spent quite a bit of time on this, and I'm really hoping that the Z works how I think it should work, and we should be able to test it somewhat today. So each corner of the bed should be fully supported by a belt, but it only needs 2 motors. It is using a fair amount of pulleys though, and idlers. So it is, I mean, there's a pro and con to everything, right? Yeah, 1.9 is, I think they just fixed a whole bunch of stuff. It's much easier to export profiles. At least in 1.9. You can now export your profiles into one file. It's not like a bunch of JSON files anymore. I really appreciate that. I was able to export profiles much easier. So that's a pretty huge thing. So I can, like Bastion, I exported my Bastion profile, and it's on printables for you guys, and you can just import it like really easily, just one file. And it has like my PLA config in there. It has my, you know, printer settings in there and all that kind of stuff just in one file. So it's really nice. All right, so there's the, essentially that's the bed frame. There's going to be obviously some 2020 for the middle, which are 250 length, which I do have. So in theory, this should just be able to go in here. It might take a bit of force because this is not meant to snap in. Actually, I wonder what the best way to do this would be. I could probably, yeah, there we go. There we go. So I probably need to even adjust the V-wheels slightly. It looks like these are probably not exactly how I want. So I can slide this bracket back now, which is another great benefit of this. You can see here how it's a little bit loose. It's just a hair loose. So I can undo these bolts and I can spread them out now. So now that it's installed, we can just loosen one side. These are really crappy T-nuts. I can't even use my ball end. So let's just slide this up a bit. Oh, and I forgot to drill out one of the parts, but I'm determined to get this guy to work on this stream. So let's just loosen this up. So now I can spread this out. Ideally. Hey, welcome, Joseph. Yeah, so already that's much tighter. I'll probably have to shave off a little bit of material, but we can lock this side in, and then I'm going to adjust the other side as well. Because it's definitely improved, or maybe it's okay actually. It's going to be loose if it's not straight. So it is a little bit loose. So I'll adjust it a little bit. Hey, welcome. How's your weekend going? Let's just... maybe I want to have like a singular spring to like just keep the tension outward on these. I don't know yet. Say this is the first time I've ever used this Z on this. Yeah, and I mean that'll work for testing purposes. I'm gonna definitely shave down the material at the front so that the V-wheel has more space, if that makes sense. But I'm just going to lock this in for now, and we can get on to the rest of the parts. Oh. So yeah, this does work. I just need more clearance on the part. So that's an easy fix, but I'm curious to see if we can just get the belts ran on this one side to see if this is going to work like I think it is going to. So little fine tuning needed for these parts here. They're rubbing up against the frame a bit much, so it moves, but it doesn't move as smooth as it should. But let's just see here once we get the feet on, and I'm going to get the pulleys and stuff working on the one side. That's kind of what I wanted to accomplish this stream. So let's get the feet installed wherever. Oh, they're in the middle here. So the feet actually have these idlers so that they can route the belt upward. So I got to make sure that I'm doing the front feet in the correct spot. So this is on this side, and this is on this side, like so. So let's get some bolts here. I'm very excited to see the printer with the new feet on too. Will be really cool. Yeah, you're not going to have the build area anymore if you try to use Dragon Burner. There's definitely no room for fans on the side. You would definitely lose build area. I don't want that one. That's a bad. Some of these, M5s are just like crappy Amazon batch that they're too big for my Allen, and it's really annoying. All right, so, and that foot's not going to work because that goes in the way, so that's fine. Something to note. Save some hardware, only 2 bolts for the feet. So there's 1 foot on there, and then this is the other front. What do you do, Joseph, that you're working on a Sunday? Or Saturday, I should say. I don't even know what day it is because I don't work. Okay. Oh, managing a hotel. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not Sunday yet, thankfully. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to me, but... Yeah, I get that, you know, working or being on call on the weekend is definitely not great. Okay, so there's our new front feet. Now we can get prepping the rear feet here. So we need to install our idlers on these. So I'm just using some cheapo idlers from Amazon. These are 8.5 wide. So the smooth idlers go on the top because they're just guiding the back of the belt essentially. The rear feet just use M5x16. Just make sure it spins without being too loose. And then they need a toothed idler. I mean, I'm sure they probably don't need a toothed idler, but we're putting one in there. Just right into plastic. There's enough threads here, and this belt's not like extremely tight like the gantry would be, so it's not really a big deal. So we're just going to tighten that so that it's... There's one there. too loose. And one more tooth idler. So very quick and easy to assemble the feet. No supports needed on the feet, of course. So there we go. We can install these now. All right, so we are going to these in. Lead screws are a nightmare. They're bent, it's hard to align them, they're hard to expand. Like if you want to make the printer bigger, you need more lead screws. You got to use different lead screws or whatever. It's just, they're not worth it. I just don't really like using them. Belted has the same print quality, and it's just easier to build and use in general. And 2 lead screws doesn't support the bed properly. That's probably the biggest reason. Ball screws definitely have their own challenges, but what was this hole? I don't know why this hole is not right, but it'll be fine for now, so I got to definitely take a look at that. That hole is a bit too big. It's probably M5, which means this one's going to be too big too. It's good enough for this iteration. I'll have to tweak it in CAD. Totally fine if you want to make a mod for lead screws. That's your call for sure. Definitely not a fan on a printer this size. Okay, feet are on. I should move this just a little bit for you guys to be able to see the actual printer. I'm sure it looks like insanely big on camera. Just anything on printables. I like to put all my stuff on printables. Unfortunately, I'm having a bit of trouble with printables right now, but I don't even think they've gotten back to me yet about my Rook page, which is all corrupt and not working, but why is this so loose? Even think something is not quite tight, I don't think, on this. some reason. Gap from the rods to the top. You need room for your extruder. So it's actually surprising how much space you need room for a reverse Bowden and also extruder. So you need all of that space at the top. I don't think that extrusion was tight. Yeah, that's much better. So. All right, so I should be able to now put together how much is it? I only know from the bottom of the extruder to the top, I think it's like 55 millimeters or 45 millimeters. It's quite a distance so that there's room for the reverse Bowden and stuff like that. This printer will support Sherpa Mini Hextrudort, the VZ Hextrudort, and also the HGX Lite or HDX Lite. And Canrock, what is it called? I never remember. Okay, so I need to think of the order of operations here. So I can definitely run the belts with the top on. So this is going to go like this. So we need to put in 2 heat sets. Oh, I moved the camera a bit too much. So let's plug in this soldering iron here. And I do need some heat sets. I need 2 of them, it looks like. HGX Lite, yeah. Sailfin and shark fin too. Sailfin and shark fin, I don't remember what mount they use. I'm pretty sure it's shorter than a Sherpa Mini. Maybe it's the Hextrudor distance, I don't know. Not many people have built Cappy yet. It's still pretty new in its defense. Okay, what size of bolts do I need for this? Probably M5 by or M3 by 12s, I bet, which I don't have, but let's see. This is my off. All right, so let's see here. Those are too big. That's right. I don't even remember. I don't even know if there is one. There might be one serial. I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I know there's definitely a few in the works of being built. But I don't think there's any completed yet. I need to do another video of Cappy. Another YouTube video. Oh, they do have Sherpa spacing versions. Okay. Turn this off. Not get burnt or electrocuted would be great. Is this not? These need to go down a bit more. I think I need to make those holes bigger maybe? I don't know. Alright, heat sets are done. Just set that over there. We'll let that cool for just a moment, but I'm gonna just preload some parts first. One Cappy cereal. Yeah, you guys need to build more Cappies. It's a really cool printer. I really like the look of it too. Okay, so that's that. Preload this. Yeah, it'll be a V0 versus RC150. Didn't make any sense doing the Panda Mini because I changed so much. But I will say Panda Mini printed basically the identical to the V0. At least for when I was testing the PLA. Okay, so to flip this around. I've never built this before, so we got to kind of get the order of operations right here. So this is going to go like this. We're just gonna put it in just enough, hold it there, and then I can slide it up and down a little bit. So just loosen that a touch, loosen that a touch. Okay, so that moves, and then we got to put on this piece. Yep. Yeah, build a Cappy for sure. So then this piece is going to go here. This one just threads into plastic because it's not enough room there for a heat set. So now I can slide this forward and it will index to the front there. I should just be able to tighten it down now, ideally. Oh, just big enough to get into that. Little fiddly to build, but you only got to build 2 of them, and it does seem to work well. So there's our Z. Let's just flip this. Tighten the bottom up now. Okay. So here's the idea for the Z is you have one motor here. We have room for our mean well that will go right here. It should just fit right here in the back. And then basically your motor's going to run 2 pulleys, and I can already see an issue. I didn't have clearance for this pulley, but I'll run 1 belt so you guys can kind of see how it's supposed to work here, but I already see a modification that I need to do. So we have our idler that goes up here, and this will be a toothed idler. I'll hopefully try to get 1 belt loop in place so that you can see what it's like. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Okay, so that's good. Where are mine? I try to make awesome printers for all of you so that you have a lot of different options and fun builds and things like that. So, okay. It's probably be a bit tricky to get on here, but I should be able to. Just tilt this here. All right, so there's our idler. And the idler is meant to slide up and down. It's not a really great view of that, but the idler is meant to slide up and down so that we can tension the belt. So we're going to have basically a belt going to come down here and go over 1 pulley. And then inside 9mm, there's going to be another belt coming over here. And I'm attaching the belt at the front of each loop. So that way, even with the motor turning one way, both of the belts are going to be actually moving the bed the same direction. I've never seen this before, but it should work great. And I'm going to use my Gates belts for this because they will fit those idlers really well. So we should be able to run a little bit of belt here, and maybe I can just show off the Z. I don't want to take all of this apart, preferably. This could be... Alright, well, I guess I think there's 2 actual belt loops in here. So we're just going to make a big mess here, and I'll just kind of run a loop and then hopefully show it off to you. Get this to go through. Luckily, it's relatively nice and open here, so it's pretty easy to route in the belt. So we're going to run one around our first pulley, and I'll show this off a bit better once I have it kind of zip tied and stuff like that. We'll take a better close-up look of it, but okay, so this one here is going to be our loop, like so. So I am going to have to grab a drill so that I can drill out these holes. So let's, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to grab my drill and we'll do 2 small holes. Okay, I'm going to mute the stream so it's not... this is a 3-to-1 gear reduction, Ian, so it shouldn't fall. All right. So yeah, there's a 3-to-1 gear reduction and there's 2 of them. The bed's not crazy heavy, so I don't think that there'll be a need for anything like that. But again, you should know me by now. If it falls, I'll just make a dock macro and I won't really care. But I don't think it's heavy enough for it to fall with the reduction. So we're just putting in the M3 belt loop bolts. My hole's a little small, but hopefully I can just get it going there. Say this, I've got a couple parts already to tweak, but if I can get this Z to work, I would be super, super happy. Yeah, you're going to want to park your print end at the bottom anyways. But with the 3-to-1 reduction, it should be okay. All right, so I'm just going to do that. So we're going to just do that. The screws don't have to go in all the way. I just need them so that I can loop it around and I can zip tie the one end. So we'll just... pop that through there. So one zip tie will go through there. Let's grab some zip ties. Well, I will try to show this off a bit better for all of you. I just really want to see the Z work. All right, so that is attached. I don't know how well it's going to move with it not being like on all sides, but because there are supposed to be 4 of these. Just going to put this around. But I mean, so far, I think this is a pretty. This is definitely going to be a win, I think. This is going to loop around here, and I probably want to cut it here. Try and get it front. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would be able to get the kits ready in time. I'm definitely looking for another job and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe one day I'll be able to go full time with the sales from kits and stuff like that. But right now I don't really make much from YouTube or from kits or anything like that. All right, so that's good. I'm going to cut these. So that's the idea of the Z here. So basically what we have is we have one of these belt loops is going around one pulley, and then there's another pulley in here that's going around the other loop. So when we move this, it's going to move the Z, but it's going to move it on both ends, right? So once I shave these parts down here so that it fits better in the middle, and then I have my bed frame, these motors should be able to spin, and it should, both belt loops should actually, I'm tensioning them on the sides that they're going up on both sides. So it should actually work really well, and I'm actually already pretty happy with how the belt path is working. I just screwed up a little bit, and I need to cut this out because my belt won't go in there. I need to make some adjustments for the belt loop to actually. Oh, actually no, I think I'm on drugs. No, I can still get the other belt going. I can actually. I lied. My Z will work right now. So the belt doesn't go up here; it goes in through here. So it doesn't matter that I'm covering the top of this. So I can actually run the other belt. But it does look I need the full frame, otherwise this will twist a little bit. So I need to get the other side assembled as well. So I'm probably, like I say, I'll probably do that maybe this week for you guys. And then on my next stream, I can like have it moving, hopefully. Okay, let's just loop this around. And I totally built that wrong. Need to swap out these. Got these upside down, it looks like. Got my tooth idler on the top and my smooth on the bottom for some reason. Yeah, if you use a like that mellow board that I linked, Canrog, or use a Manta Easy, it will fit inside the frame. There is room inside the frame if you get rid of the Monster 8, which is not actually needed. There are some other 5 driver boards out there. I think I went in. So use like a mellow board, a mellow 5 driver like that one that I linked, or use a Manta Easy would work fine. I'm gonna do that. All right, so put this around the bottom tooth idler now, just like so. So I need to move this up. And it should clear the motors, which it does. Okay, so let's this through. Need to get my other idler on the back. Yeah, I bet you Gloria could, and yeah, one of these Canrog would work. This has 5 drivers, the Manta Easy with the like the step sticks. This would be much smaller than the Monster 8 and still give you the 5 drivers. And because you have like Ender content and do Ender stuff, they should be able to send you one. It'll be a perfect. I think this is how I want this to go. Yes. So we're kind of nearing the end of the stream, guys. I just want to kind of get these 2 belts ran so you can kind of get an idea on how this is going to work. I'm going to modify just a few parts, but I just want to proof of concept this, and I want to make sure that I don't need to change anything else, but I already think this is going to work pretty well here. All right, so let's get that down there. Pull this. There we go. And then slide that in there. This is gonna right there. Quite a bit of extra, but that's okay. We can tension that by just raising up the simply just raise that up. Clears the motor. So that's nice and tight. We can tighten this belt. That's better. All right, so that's the idea there, guys. So basically, you can see our two belt loops here. I'm just going to cut this zip tie here so it's not in the way. So you can see our two belt loops tensioned with the idlers at the top here. So when I move this, this will actually go down front and back. Even though the motor is moving in one direction, this actually moves the correct direction. I'm just binding because these need to be shaved down a little bit, and I actually don't have the pulleys attached fully. So ideally what you do is you would slide this all the way down to level it out. So let's see if we can do that. So we need to level it front to back, and then we need to tension or tighten our pulleys, because our pulleys are loose right now. So let's just grab my can tighten these down now finally. So that one's pretty good. Flat on the bottom. I'm going to have to make some more room to tension these. I don't think I can get this one tensioned down like I want. Make sure these are tight. Do I have room? I can space it out a bit. So let's just let's slide this up just a little bit here. I did make a cutout so that I can tension, or not tension, but do the grub screw. So I'm just going to level this out with this. Looks like maybe the perfect height. Yeah. So we'll just use this here to level this, and then I'm going to tighten this grub screw up. And I'm just using brass here so that the grub screws actually bite really well. So I'm just going to tighten this up nice there, and then I'm going to spin. Yeah, you can see it works actually really well already. Okay, so yeah, now I can show you guys a bit better. So you'll notice no bed sag, right? The bed is nice and level. The belts are going to hold it level, and I mean, I'm binding because of the distance, but you can see how it moves up and down, front and back. Like, look at that. One motor moves both corners up and down. And once I have it like the frame and the other side, it should be buttery smooth so that I can actually move it, but you can see how well that works. And again, once there's weight on it, right? So you can see it's not moving up and down at all. I'm moving like this because I don't have the other side done, but I just got to cut away some of the plastic here because it's hitting the frame. And then I'll be able to stop this once I have the 2020 going across. So I have some more 2020, essentially this. So the same size as the frame. That's going to basically run across to the other side. So the frame's going to be nice and stiff and square. And then once I modify these parts here, we can use that. But you can see how nice it is. So I'm just in awe still of my Z and how well this is going to work, I think. One motor running, or two motors running all four corners, and you could actually do one motor if you wanted to. This shaft could go straight across to the other gearbox, and you could have a motor just in the middle if you wanted to, or just have one motor and have the shaft going all the way across. So you could go down to one motor if you wanted to. I think the two motors makes more sense, but yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. And it should always be level because, like I say, the belts are tight. Yeah, and they both touched at the same time. So that's what I wanted to accomplish today. I'm pretty happy the progress we've made today. Our frame's all assembled. The Z proof of concept does work pretty well once I get it like kind of squared. Yeah, so that potentially could be a mod for somebody. No more leaning bed. You don't need a different controller. You can use the same that came with the beta. This is nice and tight. It can't move in the extrusion. Like it's solid in there. So really happy. Really happy. I need to tweak a couple things and we should be in pretty good place. These gantry motors, I might need to slide them in the middle so that I can fully tighten the Z up and get it all sorted. This one's maybe a bit loose. This front one here is a bit tighter, but that's what I wanted to show you guys today, and I think I'll end the stream here. Pretty happy how this works. I think it's going to basically sort the bed out completely, and it works pretty cool. And you can see, hopefully you can see the bottom there. I'll give you a better view of it. But you can see our two belts, our two belt loops here, and then here's our gear reduction 3-to-1. These 3-to-1 gear reduction kits are very cheap, like $20 for both. So $20 will do both sides. And then I'm just attaching the belt to the opposite, I'm attaching the belt to the fronts of the belt. So even though one of these belts is going the other way, because I moved the tensioning part over, it'll go up and down perfectly. So yeah, very happy with this. I want to get the other side going, but I need to tweak these just ever so slightly. So and it looks like I'm hitting on the one side there for my M5, but that's okay. So thanks everybody for checking out the stream. I'm going to end it here, and next Saturday we should be able to get the bed fully working with the main board. I should be able to get Clipper moving it up and down, and we can start finishing off some of the motion, and maybe it'll print next Saturday. Probably not, but the Saturday after that it will be printing for sure. So thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate all the donations. Definitely check out my Patreon. Check out my YouTube memberships. I have Fusion tutorials on there now, and there's going to be 2 more episodes coming next week. So there'll be over 2 hours of Fusion tutorials on Patreon. So thanks everybody, and I'll catch you all next Saturday. Thanks again, guys.